My name is Craig Stelmack. I am the executive chef here at the Tampa Hotel. Today we're going to be cooking Maffra Red Leicester cheese souffle. All local products. We've got local milk from Gippsland, Jersey. We've got Gippsland pastured eggs. We've got Maffra cheese, of course. And some produce from home garden and our garden out back here at the hotel. Cheese souffle goes together really simply. The base is a roux, so it starts off with some butter. We're just going to the pot here. Melt our butter. And we do use a gluten-free flour. We have a lot of gluten-free clients, so it's important for us to have that option for them. All right, so butter's getting melted now. In with our flour. Everybody in. And we're just going to cook that, stir it together, form a roux. With the gluten-free flour, it's quite a bit runnier than if you were to do a traditional plain flour roux, but comes together the same. Looking good there now, all cooked out. Just starting to skin on the bottom now, that's what we're looking for. We're going to go straight in with our milk. Again, with the gluten-free flour, slightly different than a traditional roux. You would normally heat your milk to go in with a traditional roux, but with the gluten-free flour, you want to go in cold. Just lets the starch absorb it and swell a bit. You get a better rise out of your souffles. Just going to wait for this to come to the boil. So now this is starting to come together. See how it's sort of becoming one mass. So I'm going to go in with a mixture of Red Leicester cheese from Maffra cheese, and also some of the garlic cheddar. Just gives a bit of oomph to it. I'm going to turn the heat off now, and we're just going to let that cheese melt into the base. Whack a pinch of salt in there as well. Come together nicely now. We'll let that cool for 3 or 4 minutes before we start adding our eggs in. All right, next step, we are going to go in with the egg yolks one at a time, or 2 at a time. They're not going to play, and just let them fully combine. Ready for the next ones. Look at the color on those egg yolks. It's one thing. Our local egg producers have fantastic quality eggs. You get to sort of know your suppliers quite personally. It's not just I order from a big company and truck driver shows up. Like, it's talk to each of them every week. I know I meet their kids. They go to the local schools. It's one of the nice parts about being in these small communities. You get to know people. All right, so this is completely combined now. You see, it's a lot smoother. It's got that beautiful color from those yolks. We are going to set this aside to cool. We're going to whip up the egg whites, fold them all together, and then put them together as souffle. So I'm just setting up the molds. You can bake these in pretty much anything. You can go in a ramekin. We like them in these little Dariol molds because we unmold them then, and they plate up really pretty. But basically any oven-proof dish will work. Where we're unmolding these, I'm going to spray them quite well. Just with some cooking spray. All right, cool. Rightio. This is probably the only technical bit we do with this dish. This has cooled down a little bit. I'm going to add half the egg whites to here, and then I'm going to add all this back into the remaining bit of egg whites, and that's really going to lighten this mixture. So eyeballing half. I'm just going to fold that through. All right, so that's nice and light. Just going to go all of this into here now. And again, just folding this through. Try not to knock the air out of the egg whites. We don't have a lot of trouble getting them in there, so we'll just sort of very lightly fold that in. Make sure you dig all the way to the bottom. You got a couple of options now in terms of getting the mix into the dishes. You can just spoon them in. I tend to be a bit lazy and a bit sloppy, so I'm going to go with a piping bag. If you want to pre-prep this, you have the option of doing the base and not folding in your egg whites. We're going to bake these in a water bath. If you do have a fan forced oven, it's not a big deal, but we have the option of turning the fan off in our oven because we're a little bit fancy. So that's what we're gonna do. Just gonna fill those trays about 3/4 full. I'm gonna get 6 out of this bag, and I think that'll be plenty for today. Fill the tray halfway up the side with hot water, and we'll bake those off. Probably about 20 minutes, 150 degrees Celsius. As local as it gets, we just walked out the back door. Got some chervil here, which we'll garnish that with that because we've got it. Oh yeah, we should go check on the soufflés. There's only a few minutes left on the timer, so let's go back. That's all right. Yeah, they're good. All right, so that's just some beetroots. We can actually, if you like, you can use these nice little tender inner leaves for salads, and we'll often use the tops as well as the bases. Yeah, so what we're looking for is they're just starting to brown ever so slightly on the top, and they've risen nicely. Now we're going to take these out of the oven. I'm going to leave them sit in the water for probably 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll remove them. We'll unmold them and then flash them back in a really hot oven. Get nice color on them. You gotta be really careful not to slosh your water up on your soufflés, otherwise you'll be sad and have soggy wet soufflés. Just run my paring knife around the edge very carefully. Just gonna pop right out. There we go. So these are gonna go back in a very hot oven, like 180 Celsius, for probably about 6 minutes now. So oven has been preheated. We're gonna go back in for 6 minutes. We'll dress up a plate and do the thing. We take carrots from the garden, we grate them up, we pop them in the dehydrator, and it ends up making this beautiful carrot powder. These are peas from my garden, again. If you can grow one thing at home, grow peas. They're the most delicious thing that are nothing like what you get anywhere. I'm gonna actually put some fresh raw peas into the salad. We've got some of our tendrils. That chervil we picked earlier, we'll put some of that in. Some of that beetroot we picked earlier, put some of that in. Really simple vinaigrette, just oil and vinegar, a little bit of Dijon. And we're just gonna give that a little toss. Just like that. Just like that. We make it look easy because we do this all the time. This is just a toasted almond crumb. It's got just some spices, sea salt, and toasted almonds. Been about 6 minutes at 180 degrees. They've puffed up beautifully, get all gnarly and golden and delicious. And you can smell the cheese. It's got that lovely toasty cheese goodness to it. Just like that. When we plate these in the restaurant, hot out of the oven, onto the plate, onto the table within a minute, and you can smell the cheese in it. Digging in right now, or going in. It's beautiful. You can just see that lovely creamy middle in it. Get some of our sauce there. Oh, get up there. Sweet peas, the cheese, all the love from the garden. As good as it gets.